So the competitors in this D race: James Riley of Liverpool Harriers, Dave Vernon of Victoria Park, Niall Sheehan of Laswade, David Morwood of Annandale, Josh Teague of Northumberland, Michael Glavacki of Hillingdon, Danny Woodgate of Luton, Dave Archer of Hallamshire, Andy Agnew of Abbey, Fergus Mead of Leeds City, Ryan McDermott of Drumore, Matt Bennett of Chiltern, Pete Matthews of Blackburn, Ali Mazaubin of Leeds City, James Scott Buchlock of Stockport, Dave Rigby of Preston, Shane Kerr of Armagh, and Chris Thompson of Swansea. That completes the lineup. Familiar figure of Andy Jones doing the pacemaking. 70 seconds are our target times for each of the 400 metres. On schedule. That will give us 70 seconds per lap, will give us a time of around about 14 minutes 40 seconds. Most of these athletes with PBs quite a way outside 15 minutes, although some of them are sub 15 for a handful. But we saw some great running in that first 5,000 metres. Leading the way at the moment is Dave Vernon, under 20 from Victoria Park. Just ahead of Ali Mazaubin of Leeds City. Pete Matthews, under 23 from Blackburn, in about 4th or 5th place. Niall Sheehan of Laswade in 3rd place, 800 metres, 2:20. As they come into us into the home straight, you complete the first 1,000 metres. Well, we're looking for around about 2:56. Mazaubin just behind Andy Jones and under that in fact, so good running at the front here. You can see Fergus Mead, the second Leeds City athlete in the field, in 6th place. Mazaubin still following Jones, the pacemaker. David Vernon in 2nd place. Niall Sheehan there in 4th place. We go through 1,200 metres, under 3:30. So we're bang on schedule for 14:40, and we can see that we've still got a dozen or so athletes in contention in the early stages of this race. Daniel Woodgate, under 23 from Luton. He's in 5th place, just outside Andy Agnew of Abbey AC. Best of 15:03. Woodgate PB of 15:43, so one of the athletes in this event punching well above his weight. And we've got 14 athletes in that group there following Andy Jones round. As they approach 1 mile. So it's 4:40 for the first mile. Bang on schedule by Andy. We've already seen tonight that conditions good for distance running tonight, long distance running as well as middle distance. Temperature's not too bad at all as they come in front of us. Still anybody's race here, great to see. There's Albin with Woodgate now in second place. He's just ahead of Agnew, Vernon there, and he's just ahead of Sheehan. Well, down the back straight, we complete 2,000 metres. 5:50 was the target time. The field beginning to string out now over some 30 metres or so. Bang on schedule. But we've still got, 6 athletes with Andy Jones, just a slight gap then to 7th place. Still Mazalbin there. With Woodgate, Sheehan, Vernon all still in there. Fergus Mead. So it's the Leeds City athlete, then we've got Luton, and it's Abbey AC with Andy Agnew, just ahead of Vernon, Victoria Park athlete, then the second Leeds athlete, Fergus Mead, and just ahead of Niall Sheehan. Just trying to latch onto that leading group, David Morwood, the Annandale strider. He's currently in 7th place. Well, the pace-making absolute perfection here from Andy Jones. Went through 2,400 metres in 7 minutes. And now we could be down to about 5 athletes, just a slight gap to Fergus Mead. And indeed Niall Sheehan responds, tries to close that gap now. But it looks as if we're down to 4, maybe 5 athletes. Still Mazalbin in there. Alan Mazalbin with no form for him at all, so I'm not sure whether this is his debut at 5k. Danny Woodgate, Luton, as we said, best of 15:43, so he's a full minute ahead of his personal best time here. And well over halfway through the race, so should get a great time out of this. 8:10, so as they come round in front of us, it'll be the 3k time. We'll be looking for about 8:44. And as they come in front of us now, it's just the 2 athletes sticking with him as he moves to one side. Mazalbin and Woodgate. So bang on schedule, 8:44 we go through, so it's Mazalbin, then Woodgate. Then Andy Agnew, then Dave Vernon, then Niall Sheehan, Fergus Mead, and Dave Morwood. Now down the back straight, Ali Mazalbin is out on his own at the moment. And Andy Agnew closing in on Danny Woodgate. But the pace only dropped a second there, so 9:21 they went through, 8 laps in. So they're just about into the final mile here. Coming up to it, and it is Mazalbin who's taking it on his own. And now Agnew goes into second place. So 4 laps to go for Mazalbin. Agnew, Woodgate, Vernon. Then Sheehan, now leading that chasing group. Michael Glavacki of Hillingdon, best of 15:37. But if these athletes can keep this pace going, I think there'll be PBs throughout the field. Down the back straight. Approaching 9 laps now, Ali Mazalbin. Goes through in 10:33. So 14:45 pace for Mazalbin. And Danny Woodgate has responded well, he's gone ahead of Andy Agnew. Perhaps realised that with a PB of 15:43, staying with Mazalbin may not be too wise, but he's on schedule to thrash his personal best by a considerable margin if he can keep it going in these last 3 laps. And it is 3 to go for Mazalbin. And Woodgate kicks again, he's now got a gap again, once again.
No, not really. Did the tempo.
So Mazalbin goes through. Still just 4 or 5 seconds outside that initial target time. So well under 14:50 pace. His lead now some 40 metres, 50 metres from Woodgate, who's got a slight lead on Vernon. David Vernon is an under 20, remember, personal best of 14:54. With Agnew in 4th place, now he just goes ahead of Vernon now, but it's Mazalbin with 800 metres to go. Then Woodgate. Then Agnew, Vernon. Glavacki now, it's clear now in 5th place. Shane Kerr of Armagh, just leading that group of 3 there. David Morwood in there, and Chris Thompson, the Swansea athlete. But down the back straight, 600 to go for Ali Mazalbin. 12:55, so still on for sub 14:50. Been a great run from him. Woodgate clear in 2nd. Josh Teague just going in front of us there, Northumberland Feld Runners. Ahead of David Rigby of Preston. But it's Ali Mazalbin who's catching on then, the back markers. And he'll take the bell, 13:31 at the bell. Woodgate takes it on. Now in this last 400, pulling away from Agnew, with Vernon in 4th. Glavacki all the time closing on them. But down the back straight, Mazalbin has got a considerable lead, 50 metres or more. From Woodgate, Vernon in 3rd ahead of Agnew. Glavacki still closing though. David Morwood. Onto the shoulder of Shane Kerr, with Chris Thompson behind them. But all the way at the front, a massive lead, Ali Mazalbin, less than 1:20 to go. Here he comes, Ali Mazalbin into the finish line. Look at that. 14:40.40. Tremendous running. Woodgate. Danny Woodgate comes through and he's under 14:50, as I think were the next 2 athletes. All these athletes now under 15 minutes now. Ryan McDermott comes through, thrashed his PB, it was 15:22, he was well under 15:10. So some good running there in that 5k. James Riley comes through, he goes through in under 15:30. James Scott of Stockport, just outside 15:30. And it's Josh Teague, debut run I think at the 5k, so great running from him, under 15:45. With David Rigby also making his debut at the event. So